You are the light of the world, a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. No one never lights a lamp and hide it under a basket, but they set it on a lampstand to give light to the entire house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they can see your good works and glorify our Father in heaven. Over a year ago, I was sitting in a coffee shop with a friend drinking a caramel latte. And as I was sipping my latte, I happened to look down at my phone. And I saw that I had a missed call from Miss Tawana. Now, Miss Tawana is the mother of my best friend, Jalen. And she called me about 4 in the morning, but I said, you know what? I'll call her back once we wrap this up. And I looked down again and I got to thinking, this don't feel right. Because for context, my best friend, Jalen, had health problems. So I just had this weird feeling in my chest as we was continually talking with my friend at the coffee shop. I couldn't even engage in the conversation no more. I was checking out, thinking I should go ahead and probably take this call. And as I pick up my phone, with expecting some very challenging news. Hello. Hey, Miss Tawana, is everything okay? What you mean, Jalen? What about him? He, he's gone? And just like that, her and I began to weep on the phone together in this coffee shop. My childhood best friend is no longer with us. At the age of 28 years old, he had passed away. But the challenging thing on that conversation on the phone, she asked me, she said, Juwan, Jalen had been telling me that if something happened to him, that he wanted you to do the eulogy. Of course, my answer was a resounding yes. How could I say no? What an honor it would be for my best friend to share at his homegoing celebration, to share about his life. But as I said yes and hung up the phone the next day and couple of days, I was pacing back and forth in my room, wondering what am I going to say? Wondering how am I going to encourage when I need encouragement? Have you ever been there when you have to encourage while you need to be encouraged? And this was during a dark time for me. This was a challenging season of my life, very difficult time. And I hadn't saw my best friend in a while, face to face. I mean, FaceTime, but it has been a while since I've seen him. And the next time that I'm going to see him, it will be in a casket. So I'm playing this out in my mind, wondering how I'm going to be an encouragement to the family. And I stopped for a moment. And I remember a 3 hour, 2, 3 hour conversation we had 3 weeks prior to his passing. And we talked for about everything we've been through in our childhood. We talked about the losses, the wins, the ups, the downs, the spin arounds, everything, the cycles, the struggles. We talked about it all. And it's something that he said that was very profound in our conversation that day. He said, Juwan, you know, man, growing up, bro, I never cared about, some of the stuff that we was chasing, trying to be famous, money, girls, all these things. He said, man, what I really wanted was to be a light. What I really wanted was to be a revolutionary. What I really wanted was to be an agent of change. I don't want to be known for being a rapper, though he did make music. I don't want to be known for the stuff I did in my past. I don't even want to be known for somebody who struggled with his health. I don't want to be known for somebody who was on dialysis. None of that stuff. I want to be remembered as a light of Christ, an agent of change, a revolutionary. And he got to talk more about that. And then I stopped in that moment. As I remembered that conversation, he he told me, he told me that day on the phone exactly what to say. So I encouraged the family that Jalen, he was a light in my life. Though he only lived 28 years, he was a light in many of our lives. And we are here today to celebrate what God did in his life and continue to do what God charged him to do, but what God has charged us to do. To not just go to work and work our 9 to 5 and not be a light at our job. To not just go and grocery shop and not be a light at the grocery store. To not just have a wife and a children and not be a light to our families. To not live in a world that is dark and that is hurting and that is broken and not be a light. To sit and get distracted by the circumstances of life. It's not what God called us to. Though it grieved me to lose not one, but 2 best friends, very young, I've also been privy to seeing not allowing trials and even sickness to stop you from being a light, to not allow the circumstances of life, to not allow the cares of this world to distract you from the purpose that God has called us to fulfill. So Jesus is the ultimate light, but we are to reflect that light as believers and disciples of Jesus the Christ. So I want to encourage you with this video to not go another day without being intentional with letting your light shine. Now, let me exegete this for you. This doesn't mean that you are to bring glory onto yourself, but this is to reflect the glory of God the Father. Because our light doesn't point to us, but it's a transparent light. It sees through us and points to Jesus the Christ. Because he's the ultimate light of the world. As the moon reflects the sun, we reflect the Son of God, Jesus the Christ. So in our light, in our life, let that be said of you. Let that be said of me when I leave this world. Only God knows the day and hour and the time. Just as if I thought I had more time and years with my brothers, it was cut short, at least in my own human perspective, but it was at the right time that God allowed them the purpose to be in this earth. And with the little time that they had in this earth, they were a light to me and several other people around them. Because, listen, we have to do what the Bible says. Number our days. Because the clock is ticking. And we need to get off TikTok and be focused and be about our Father business, that we may gain a heart of wisdom on how we live our life in the time that we have been given. So join me as I follow Christ and being a light in this dark and hurting world. That is my charge to you. Not for everybody, but you. You who are convicted by this video, you who are watching this video, let that be your charge. Don't let your circumstances distract you for what God has called you to do and be in the time that He has for you on the earth. Let that be said of you. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in prison, you came to visit me. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me in. And they would say to me, when do we do these things for you, O Lord? When you did it unto the least of the brothers and sisters of mine, you did it unto me. One of the most proudest things I can share about my best friend, Jalen, he started a ministry called the Healing Shelter. And the Healing Shelter was dedicated to people like the least of these. And even though Jalen needed healing in his body, he made it his mission to provide healing for other people, praying for the sick. He would see the homeless on the street, and the money that he had, he would pay for them to have a night in a hotel so they could see what it feels like to sleep in a warm and cozy environment and not sleep on the street. He would feed them. With the money that he had, he would go in his pocket and give them the money, sometimes his entire check. He was doing the purpose and plan that God had called him to. So my brother, my sister, my friend, go and do the same, because you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. And no one ever lights a lamp and hide it under a basket, but they set it on a lampstand to give light to the entire house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they can see your good works and glorify our Father in heaven.